Mobile County Public Schools high school football. Countdown to kickoff live here on the campus of Mattie T. Blount High School as we get ready for tonight's matchup between the LeFlore. Everybody's fired up, guys.
Absolutely.
Tim Finnegan, joined by Mobile County Public Schools' own Mr. Calvin Chris, Mr. Ron Leaf for tonight's matchup between the Rattlers and Leopards in 6A Region 1. An important matchup at the end of the season because right now playoff seedings could not be more important, and matchups like tonight can make or break a season.
A lot of speed on the field tonight, no doubt. And it's also it's two communities coming together to play each other. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Looking back at last night, Davidson and Bryant in action, the Warriors getting a 28-18 win, but both teams eliminated from playoff contention. Coach, we'll start with you. How do you get your team motivated in the balance of finishing out the season strong with seniors, but preparing for next year?
Well, high school sports is still about pride. And so you prepare yourself and you go out, you want to represent your school well, you want to represent your community well, and whether you're going in postseason play or you're just going to finish the year out, you want to finish it strong. And you never turn your back on your seniors. And at this point in time in the senior, there really are no sophomores. They've had game experience. They've had JV games to play. So you want to end strong.
Calvin, tonight's major matchup in 7A Region 1 is going to be the Murphy Panthers taking on the Fair Hope Pirates. What are you expecting out of that matchup? Because two players, namely DePriest Turner and David Kirksey, both scored 6 touchdowns by themselves last week.
I think the key to the game is going to be which offense is out there the longest, because both teams can get on the field, they score. Both the players you mentioned are just dynamic players. They're going to college, and that could be a game where the last team that has the ball scores and wins. So that should be a tight game.
Coach Lee, you coached Murphy last season and DePriest Turner. What can you talk about what he brings to the table?
Well, I think both quarterbacks are so similar, both extremely intelligent, both do have a future after high school. DePriest, great speed, tremendous ability, got super touch. I can speak a little more of him because I did spend 3 years with him. But anyway, it's going to come down, and the quarterbacks get the glamour, they do, but there's 10 other guys around them all the time. And at this point in time in the season, it's about the team. It's about the whole team.
Another major matchup that's going to be happening here in the Mobile County area tonight is the team that this school's a little bit familiar with, the Barger Wolves. Going to be in action against St. Paul's tonight, a rivalry matchup in itself, but in 5A Region 1, even though St. Paul's has been on a roll, it's still a very important matchup.
It really is. You got the number 1 and 3 teams in that area or that region playing, and if Viger can just get the Flowers kid rolling 100%, I think he can make a difference in the game, because I don't know, sometimes when schools win a lot of games in a row, they think that they can just show up and not put forth their best effort. So maybe that'll happen tonight, and Viger can jump on and get a win for the Wolfpack.
How much preparation is the coach thinking about the seedings at this point, the different scenarios?
Well, it lays heavy on you throughout the mid part of the season, because at that point in time you are battling for home field advantage. In a situation to where it can determine whether or not you're the home field or you travel in the first round. It has a lot to do with the coach's preparation, but the players, they just want to play. And bottom line, they'd love to play at home, but everybody wants to be in the postseason. Once you get in, it's a 5-week season, and anything can happen during that time. So the object's to get in.
Now tomorrow we have a special matchup that's going to be right here on Seymour TV, a Saturday game between BC Rain and Williamson. Interesting to schedule it on a Saturday.
Yeah, Rain kind of threw a wrench into that region last week. Everybody just took for granted Faith was ready to go, and they turned around, they got 27 points in the 4th quarter. And great comeback, and actually come back and beat Faith. And if Rain beats Williamson, they're in. If Williamson wins, then who knows? They may have to go flip a coin to see who's going to get that last matchup in that region. But that's going to be a tough game. Both teams playing for a lot there.
How about two teams that really rebuilding. It'll be the first time in 9 years the BC Rain will make the playoffs. That's got to be a big accomplishment for only a second-year head coach, Tella Stone.
I agree. He's done a good job down there, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of it is this is the first time in years they've had their own home stadium. It means a lot. They had Faith Academy at Tremere Park, and they've done such a wonderful job down there with redoing it, the city and our school system, and you know, it's a place they call home. And people on Parkway said, you know, just flip those lights on Friday night and we're going to come. And they've had some great crowds, and it's been great for the school, for the community, and for the whole Parkway.
Coach, it's got to be different preparing for a Saturday game after you get all the energy out throughout the week.
It is tough. It makes for a very long week. Saturday games used to be common in Mobile, and especially when we were all sharing Ladd Stadium. But at this point in time, you just slow your roll, so to speak, a little bit, preparing for that Friday night game. It is one day longer. It takes a little bit more preparation for most teams. They appreciate that. If you got beat up the last Friday night, it gives you an extra day to heal up. And once again, you're talking about two neighborhood schools. Those guys know each other. They are not strangers at all. They probably went to school together when they were smaller and played park league ball together. So when you get that kind of setting, they play for keeps on that Saturday night for those teams.
Shifting back to Friday night action, we've got two 7A Region 1 rivals going at each other in the McGill-Toolton Yellow Jackets and the Theodore Bobcats, two highly touted running backs in Spencer Ruggs and LaMichael Pierrine. Calvin, what are you looking for as far as that matchup?
I think that it's going to be a close game. And again, it goes back to what I said earlier. The offense is out there the longest. I think it's going to be the one that's going to be able to score, because Pierrine and Ruggs both they've been almost unstoppable this year. And Theodore has picked up a little passing attack that may help them. Of course, McGill-Toolton has gone through a lot of injuries, and they lost their quarterback last week. They've gone through 2 or 3 quarterbacks this year. So, and it's an important game really for Theodore, because there's an outside chance they could maybe slide in there with some upsets. So a big game really is, and it's going to be at Lipscomb Park tonight. So I'm sure McGill's going to have that buzzing bumblebee sound going on. It drives you crazy, and maybe those Bobcats can go in there and pull a victory.
I was talking about the different scenarios. Theodore would have to essentially win out, but need Murphy to lose out, because Murphy has the tiebreaker that they got earlier on into the season. Could be a tough scenario.
Yep.
Looking at the Battle of West Mobile, Baker and MGM, if you've been on social media, this has been an interesting one with the trash talking going back and forth on this one. But starting quarterback for the Baker Hornets, Burt Chappell, was a transfer from MGM. And then a couple other players have been switching sides in the past 2 seasons. Could be an interesting matchup for that community.
Yeah, I think the whole role has changed and the dynamics have changed. That's always been an important game. You know, in the past, it was 2 teams that was playing for neighborhood pride. But now, both teams are contenders in their own right for what they're doing. Both teams have had great seasons. Baker, no doubt, their program is on the move, going. Mary Montgomery can compete with anybody that steps on the field, as they've proven this year. And anytime you get that kind of rivalry, there's no edge going one way or the other. You know, you would think it goes to the home team, but those guys are going to be ready to play. They're going to tee it up, and it'll be a hitting contest.
Well, even though the Fairhope has the tiebreaker over Baker, they're still chasing them for a possible #1 spot in 7A Region 1. Well, we're going to be featuring more about the matchup tonight between the Leopards and Rattlers. As coming up next here on Countdown to Kickoff, we're going to be talking with 2 of the top players in the Mobile area as they get ready to put a mark on the rest of this fabulous run that they've been having for the 2014 season. Coming up next on Countdown to Kickoff, live here on Seymour TV.
And then from this angle, it all makes a star.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore.
Show up
And frustration, a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy, and giving up impossible.
And then we're gonna turn the lights and everybody look up.
I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought.
Find me one.
What's your reaction gonna be? Yeah! Yeah, exactly.
and unconventional methods
Okay, what else?
common.
Little tadpoles, the frogs. Everybody say, this is their world.
There's nothing.
And then they die. Go ahead, go, go, go.
I'm a teacher. I make more.
All in together now. We can make it better now. Come on, can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
We'll rope it up.
Cause we know how to jump.
We'll roll it out.
Cause we know how to skate.
We'll cut it down.
Cause we know what to eat.
We'll swap it out.
We eat healthy stuff.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
Yeah, well come on.
Today's a good day to grab your kids and hang out with them for an hour. Dance, walk, play a sport, or cook a healthy meal. Because just moving a little and eating better every day can help make you and your child healthier.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
We'll ball it up.
Cause we know how to hoop.
We'll mess around.
Cause we know how to play.
We'll drop it down.
Cause we know how to dance.
We'll veg it up.
Veggie night and day.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
All in together now. We can make it better now.
Search We Can to find doable tips and activities that you can use every day to keep you and your kids healthy.
Welcome back to Mobile County Public Schools High School Football Countdown to Kickoff, presented by School Insights live here on Seymour TV. Tim Finnegan now joined by two players on the Blount Leopard squad that has been on a roll this season. Gentlemen, y'all are on a course to make it 7 straight trips to the playoffs. How important does that mean to you?
So it's very important. We just stick to the coach's game plan and do what we're supposed to do.
I think it's a good experience for us, for me and the younger guys, because next year when we leave, they'll be able to pick up where we left off at.
Now, I know that Viger is a major rivalry for y'all, but how big of a rivalry is LeFlore for Blount?
It's not a big rivalry as Viger, but it's a rivalry. But the past couple of years I've been here, we won.
Demetrius, how much does it mean to the community for games like tonight?
It mean a lot. I mean, we just come out, get ready for the game, things like that. But we don't look too much on the next opponent. We just stay with the opponent that's in front of us.
Well, growing up, I mean, how much is there a pull or a lot of people pushing you to go to one school or the other just for athletics?
It's a lot of pressure on us because most of us, we looking to go to Viger, either Wilson, LeFlore, schools like that, mostly, you know, our school, things like that. But that's about it.
Oh yeah, let's see. Well, I think everybody want people to go to like LeFlore, Murphy, Baker, something like that. So I just feel like Blount is place.
What has been the biggest key to your team's success this season?
We got to stay disciplined and just stick to the game plan the coach give us.
Well, stick with Coach say, tempo, tempo, tempo.
What's the biggest strength of this Leopards team?
The biggest strength, mostly for the seniors to just show their biggest leadership. That's about it.
Discipline.
Being a senior leader on this team, you made a major impact and a name for yourself in last season. How have you seen that kind of momentum carry over into this season?
We just, I don't too many look up on all the hype. We just try to pick up the young guys and get them to follow your steps, things like that.
Well, I guess let's see, we let them follow. When they follow behind us, I think if they follow us, they follow the leader. Lead as action, not as you speak.
What's something you feel you need to do in order to get your team to that next level?
Just talk to them, motivate them, things like that.
Play hard.
Do you feel like Blount is an overlooked team whenever people talk about the top teams in the Mobile area?
Yes,
of course, most certainly. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Why do you think that is?
I have no idea.
Because, I mean, I've been to campus a couple of times. I mean, this is like my 4th trip, and, I mean, this is an awesome campus. So I almost feel it's just an underrated factor here out in West Mobile.
Yeah,
right.
right.
I feel like we're number one in our team.
That's why we're number one.
Well, looking Take me back to a couple of weeks ago. You had an overtime loss against Spanish Fort, but being able to take a team that's been on a roll like that all the way to the very end, what did that do for the confidence of your team and this community?
We always have to come over adversity. I look at it as we have to be at the finish at the end. We lost the same thing at Daphne in the overtime. Next time I think we're gonna pull it through.
I feel that we are number one. They were ranked number one. I think we number one because we the only team that really put up a fight everywhere. But every other opponent they played, they beat, but they had to come out with a war against us.
What was working for the team that night?
Defense, then offense came, turnovers.
Do you feel that your peers gave you a lot more credit after that game? Like everyone was like, wow, Blount's for real.
In my opinion, I feel they didn't. I feel they really didn't because they still overlook us. That's about it.
Right.
Now, Blount's made the playoffs each of the last 7 seasons. And with Coach Hurt, you're looking to make it 3 in a row. Right now, you're the number 4 seed. What do you need to do in order to finish strong this season?
Finish out these past 2 games, we can get the number 3 seed. We won't have to go on the road to playoff. Like that.
Well, I feel that beat LeFlore, beat Saraland, and we'll pick up in 3rd seed.
What's it like playing for Coach Hurt?
Hard. Hard.
Yeah, you got to fight adversity.
Talk to me about how the preparation is, even dating back to like the spring, just getting the mentality of the Blount program.
He speaks a lot on tempo and sense of urgency. We just always got to move fast. He don't want nobody lagging around, things like that.
Yeah. Well, when the seniors left, he was like, now it's y'all turn to be the leader. So we had to lead the way we had to lead, and it felt like we did our part.
Do you have a prediction for tonight?
We're going to win.
I need about 5 feet.
Best of luck to y'all tonight. Coming up next, we're going to be talking to your coach along with the principal of Blount here on Mobile County Public Schools High School Football Countdown to Kickoff.
All right, I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay, so who's gonna do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Back to Mobile County's Public Schools High School Football Countdown to Kickoff. Tim Finnegan live here on the campus of Mattie T. Blount High School, now joined by the head coach of the Leopards, Mr. Mark Hurt, and the principal, Mr. Jerome Woods, talking about tonight's major matchup between Blount and LeFlore. Gentlemen, how important are games like tonight to the community?
Coach, you want me to go? Hey, it's real important. You know, we got two communities that are right next to each other. A lot of these kids went to middle school together, so they know each other. It's a rivalry on the field. It's a rivalry in the community, and we look forward to welcoming the Rattlers when they get here tonight.
Well, I mean, it's another test for our team. It's always good to play people that you know, and you know, another team that's full of athletes as we prepare to go to the playoffs. So we just look forward to them coming here and playing a game tonight.
Now, I know that there's never any recruiting going on with the school systems, but can you give us a perspective of just how much you almost have to in order to keep athletes in your community coming here to Blount?
Well, we just, you know, we just go to our middle schools that are zoned, the students that are zoned for us. We don't get into the recruiting deal. We just take what we have, we coach them up very well, and, you know, we put a product on the field as winners.
Well, on the academic side, it gets a little bit different for us. So we're looking for students from just about anywhere in Mobile County because we're a signature academy and we want the best of the best to be able to come to Blount and make us the best high school in the county.
Now, how have you seen the support over the last 2 years, specifically with Coach Hurt? How have you seen the support for the Blount program grow?
Well, the Blount program has always been a great program football-wise. It's been a dynasty throughout the 90s, and we're getting back to that stage now. So the stands are always full, the crowd's always loud. Fired up, Matty T. We got the best looking cheerleaders and supporting the city. So the support's definitely there.
Now, Blount has produced a number of athletes that have made it on to the next level and beyond, not just in football, but in multiple sports and in academics. Can you give us just a preview of who some of those notable alums are that out there that maybe people don't even realize?
Well, we probably need about 5 shows to do it. But really quickly, Jarek Williams is at Alabama. He's a starter, and he's in graduate school. Wilson Bell's playing at Florida State. Those are the last 2 national champions. Quintarius Toppin's at Alabama State. Kelton Brackett at UAB. In basketball, we've got Devon Miles at Stetson. Reginald Harbin's at Spring Hill. Demetrius Caldwell's at Miles. We've got several girls on the basketball court as well. Tyler Phelan's at Jacksonville State. Whitney Singleton's at UAB. And there's so many. Erica Pritchard's at South Carolina State. I mean, we've got boys and girls athletically and academically supporting and helping Blount High School shine from high school to college.
And you had a major one in Coach Damian Craig, that's now with Auburn,
Wow.
found the Heisman winner from last year.
Wow, you're right. Damian Craig, All-American here, All-American at Auburn, and now offensive coordinator at Auburn. Huge job, big in the community. Still comes back to recruit our kids, and we're happy that he represents us.
Now, Coach Hurt, we talked to a couple of your star players in the last segment, but who are some of the names that we need to know about for tonight's game?
A.J. Wright, Kadarius Toney, Donadio Madison. You have Justin Brown, Dominique Williams, Jakir Snell, D'Lo, I call it Anderson. I call him D'Lo so much. I forgot his real name. But we just have a team full of kids that are working real hard, and you know, just show up and look for the numbers, you'll find them.
Now, as you've been growing the Blount program over your last 2 years, you got possibly moving into your 3rd straight playoff appearance. What does that mean for you as what you're trying to build here?
Well, I mean, our goal is to win a state championship, bar none. And we know that means we're the best in the state. We're number 1, and we're looking to be the number 1, to be the best. And that's what we want our school to be academically as well as in athletics. And so, you know, in order to be number 1, you have to beat the number 1 teams. So, you know, we're just trying to get the mindset for our student athletes to think like they're the best, to think like champions, to walk like champions, to eat like champions, so that in the end, we're champions.
Whenever people talk about the top programs in the Mobile area, do either of you ever feel that Blount is ever overlooked?
Well, not really. You have to earn it. I mean, if you win the last ball game, which is a championship game, so you don't worry about how you looked at, it's just how you finish.
Mr. Woods, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, you know, I share Coach's vision, and of course we want to be the state champions, but I do think sometimes we'll get overlooked. You know, a lot of parents are making a quick decision as 8th graders are coming out about where they want those kids to go. A lot of times they jump for private schools, and that always perturbs me, and that's why I rattled those names out, because I'd ask those people when you're getting ready to send them to those schools, can they have the same type of list? So I think we're competing academically. I know we're competing athletically. We're getting our kids in school, and that's the most important part. Coach is doing a great job getting our kids ready, and you know, we're the school of choice, so send your kids to Blount.
Coach Hurt, what have you learned about your team this season?
Well, they're maturing. They're starting to grow. I think they're becoming more disciplined and focused on what they're trying to accomplish as a group. We don't have a large number of seniors, but I think we have pretty good leadership in that area. So we just have to continue to work and, you know, grow in that area.
What do you know about your opponents tonight?
Well, Coach Shamber, of course, I played with him in college, and he was one of the meanest linebackers I played with. He's a couple of years younger, but I think he'll have his team ready. He knows it's a rivalry, and when they come in, it's LeFlore, it's Blount. Enough said. Everybody's going to compete. Everyone knows each other. The bands are going to compete against each other, the cheerleaders. So, you know, it's just going to be a great game.
You got another former college player sitting next to you. Have you ever asked him to come out and put on a clinic or anything?
Yeah, he did some work for us this spring. Did a great job with the quarterbacks.
Too old.
Now, can it be dangerous going up against a team that's already eliminated from the playoffs and essentially doesn't have anything to play for as far as postseason wise? Can that be a dangerous scenario?
Well, you just have to play the game. It's on the schedule, and those are things you really can't worry about. You have to play the game regardless. So, you know, the best thing is just prepare like you've always prepared and compete like you always compete. So I think it'll be just fine.
You've had a tall task of replacing the quarterback position 3 years in a row. What can you say about your guy this year?
He's a sophomore. He's doing a great job. He's improved from the first game tremendously. So, you know, I think he's a sophomore. I think he's doing a great job.
Right now, I'll give you an opportunity. What would you like to tell people out there why they need to come and play for the Blount Leopards?
Because we are the team of the future and the team of the decade. Go Blount. Go Leopards.
Well, you can catch tonight's matchup between Blount and LeFlore live here on Seymour TV as Coach Hurt attempts to make it all the way for the third straight trip to the playoffs in 6A Region 1. We get ready for tonight's great matchup live on the campus of Mattie T. Blount High School. Thanks for watching the Mobile County Public Schools High School Football Countdown to Kickoff.